You feel it happening. A few days ago, everything felt easy. She was replying fast. She was leaning in, smiling a little longer, asking you questions back. The vibe felt real. You start thinking, okay, maybe this is actually going somewhere. Then it changes. Her texts get shorter. Her energy gets colder. She takes longer to reply. The warmth disappears, and now you're staring at your phone trying to decode one dry message like it's a crime scene. What changed? Did I say too much? Was she ever into me? Why does this always happen right when it starts feeling good? Why do women pull away the second I start getting close? Here's the truth, bro. She usually doesn't pull away because you were too nice. She pulls away because the energy shifted the moment you started needing the outcome. And no, you're not crazy. This isn't because you're broken. Most guys feel this exact pain, and nobody ever explains what's actually going on underneath it. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why she pulls away right when things seem to be going well, what she starts feeling when your energy changes, and how to keep your presence magnetic without forcing, chasing, or losing yourself. Let's get into it. Most guys believe attraction grows when you push a little harder, text a little more, and prove a little more interest once she starts opening up. But the real truth is this. Attraction often drops the moment your calm turns into pressure. That's the part most men never see. Because from your side, it feels like you're just showing effort. You're just trying to be clear. You're just trying not to mess it up. But from her side, she doesn't experience your intention first. She experiences your energy first. She senses when your vibe changes. She feels when the interaction stops being playful and starts becoming heavy. She feels when your presence stops being grounded and starts reaching for reassurance. She feels when your words are no longer coming from genuine curiosity, but from quiet anxiety underneath them. And that's when her energy shifts. Not because she sat down and logically decided, I no longer like this guy. Not because you failed some secret test, but because her gut starts telling her, something feels different now. Something feels less effortless, less calm, less real. And here's the thing. Women are deeply responsive to emotional atmosphere. Not just what you say, not just how you look, but the emotional weight she feels around you. When you're centered, she relaxes. When you start gripping, she feels the grip. That's why trying harder so often creates resistance. Not because effort is bad, not because caring is weak, not because desire is unattractive, but because needy energy feels like emotional pressure, and pressure kills the very thing you're trying to build. So if you've ever had a woman seem interested, then suddenly go cold the moment you started leaning in harder, this video is going to make that whole pattern click in a way it never has before. 1. The energy shift. Here's the part nobody talks about. Most guys think the problem starts when she pulls away. It doesn't. The problem usually starts a few moments earlier, when your internal energy quietly changes from enjoying her to needing this to work. That difference is everything. Because when you're enjoying her, you're loose, you're present, you're listening. Your vibe feels grounded. But when you need it to work, your attention narrows, your silence gets tense, your texts become loaded. Now every reply means something, every pause feels personal. She feels that instantly. Not in some mystical way, in a human way. Your energy is the message before your mouth even opens. Conversation isn't a performance, it's a dance. And the second you start counting every step, the rhythm dies. Wrong approach sounds like this. Hey, just making sure we're still good, lol. You've been kind of distant. Right approach sounds like this. No worries, enjoy your night. Talk later. One is reaching. One is relaxed. One says, please give me certainty. The other says, I'm good either way. And when you do that, she feels the difference between pressure and peace. 2. You stop responding and start managing. This is the one most guys completely miss. Most guys don't realize that once they like a woman, they stop being natural and start trying to manage her perception. They edit themselves. They overthink timing. They rehearse replies. They become hyper-aware of how they're coming across. That kills the vibe. Because now you're not with her. You're with the version of yourself you're trying to control. Not genuine. Not effortless. Not real. Just calculated tension wearing a smile. And here's the thing. Women feel safest around emotional congruence. That means your words, tone, pace, and presence all feel aligned. When you start micromanaging yourself, she feels a wall go up. She may not be able to explain it, but her gut starts whispering. Why does this suddenly feel less natural? Wrong approach. She teases you, and you reply with some polished line you copied from dating advice because you think you need to keep her attracted. Right approach. You laugh and say, "You're trouble, I can already tell." Simple, present, alive. Not loud confidence, not fake confidence, not flexing at the gym confidence. Quiet, grounded, I'm here and I'm comfortable here confidence. That's when she starts feeling like she's talking to a man, not a strategy. 3. You make her the prize too early. And here's where it gets interesting. Most guys pull away from their own center the second they meet a woman they really like. Without meaning to, they start placing her above themselves. Her attention becomes the reward. Her reply becomes the mood. Her approval becomes the scoreboard. She feels that shift. Because the moment you make her the prize, the interaction stops feeling mutual. Now she feels watched, evaluated, elevated. And that kind of energy can feel flattering for a moment, but it quickly becomes heavy. Why? Because attraction thrives in freedom, not worship. A woman wants to feel chosen, yes, but she also wants to feel that you have a life, a mindset, standards, direction, and a grounded sense of self that existed before her and will still exist after her. That's what makes your interest feel valuable. Wrong approach. After 2 good conversations, you start texting all day, cancelling plans, and reacting emotionally if she takes time to answer. Right approach. You show interest, but you keep your habits, your pace, your calm, and your self-respect intact. You're not treating her like a celebrity. You're meeting her like an equal. And when you do that, her brain starts saying, "This guy doesn't need me to validate him." That's magnetic. 4. You try to lock it down before it can breathe. But here's what changes everything. Most guys think clarity creates attraction. Sometimes it does. But too much certainty too early can suffocate something that was still trying to grow naturally. You see this all the time. Things are flowing. There's tension, there's curiosity, there's playfulness. And then the guy rushes in because he wants security. He wants to define it, confirm it, nail it down before it slips away. that's when she pulls back. Not because commitment is bad, not because emotional honesty is weak, not because wanting more is unattractive, but because trying to force emotional certainty before she feels ready creates resistance. Attraction is a fire, man. You don't build it by smothering it with your hands. You build it by giving it oxygen. Wrong approach. So, what are we? I just want to know where your head's at. Right approach. I like talking to you. Let's keep seeing where this goes. Feel the difference. One sentence demands a conclusion. The other leaves room for chemistry to grow. One feels like pressure. The other feels like presence. And when you do that, she feels free enough to move closer on her own. 5. You chase the drop in energy. Here's the trap almost every man falls into. Most guys see a woman's energy dip and instantly panic. Then they start doing more texting, more checking in, more jokes, more effort, more explaining. They think if they can just raise the energy back up, they can save the connection. But that response usually makes it worse. Because now you're not interacting with her, you're reacting to fear. And fear has a smell. She feels it in the pacing. She feels it in the extra message you didn't need to send. She feels it in the emotional urgency behind your just checking on you. And her inner voice starts saying, "Why does this feel so intense all of a sudden?" Silence matters here. Silence between words is like silence between musical notes. That's where the rhythm lives. If every dip in energy makes you rush to fill the gap, you never let tension breathe. You never let mystery do its job. You never let her wonder about you. Wrong approach. She takes 6 hours to reply and you send, "All good? Did I do something?" Right approach. You stay calm, stay busy, and reply when you reply without trying to compensate. That isn't a trick. This is who you're becoming. And when you do that, she feels your calm instead of your fear. 6. She feels your attachment before she feels your strength. This is deeper than texting. Most guys think women pull away because of some surface mistake, a bad line, a double text, a wrong move on a date. Sometimes those things matter a little, but more often what really turns her off is that she feels your attachment before she feels your grounded masculine core. That order matters. If she feels your hunger before she feels your stability, it can register as emotional risk. Not physical risk, emotional risk. Like you're already leaning on something that hasn't been built yet. And that creates caution. Because she doesn't want to feel responsible for your emotional state. She doesn't want to feel like one mood swing from her will shake your whole world. She wants to feel your interest, yes, but inside a man who is solid, calm, rooted, present. Wrong approach is complimenting her non-stop, over-investing fast, and subtly communicating, "I really need this to become something." Right approach is showing desire while staying centered. "I like your vibe. Let's grab a drink this week." Clean, clear, unclenched. Not cold, not distant, not playing games. Just grounded intention without emotional collapse. And when you do that, she feels safe enough to lean in without feeling trapped by your expectations. 7. You think winning her over is the goal. And here's the biggest reframe of all. Most guys think the moment a woman starts liking them is when they need to tighten up and secure the win. But the real truth is that attraction doesn't deepen when you try to win her over. It deepens when she keeps feeling good in your presence. That's the whole game. Not performance, not perfection, not saying everything right. Sustained emotional experience. How she feels around you, how relaxed she becomes, how alive the space feels, how natural it is to be with you. That's why some guys say less and still leave a bigger impact, because they're not performing for approval. They're creating a feeling, a vibe, a grounded emotional atmosphere she wants to come back to. She leaves the interaction thinking, something about him feels different. Then later, without realizing it, she replays the conversation and thinks, why do I keep thinking about him? That's emotional caffeine for her brain. Wrong approach. Trying to impress her every second, filling every silence, pushing every interaction toward a result. Right approach. Being engaged, playful, calm, and genuinely there, without forcing the moment to become more than it is. And when you do that, she doesn't just notice you. That's the shift that turns interest into obsession. So if a woman has ever pulled away right when you thought things were finally going well, understand this. It wasn't necessarily because you cared. It was because somewhere along the way, your care turned into pressure. Your interest turned into attachment. Your presence turned into pursuit. And she felt it. That's the upgrade. This isn't about learning how to manipulate women. It's about becoming the kind of man whose energy stays steady whether she leans in or pulls back. The kind of man who doesn't crumble the moment uncertainty appears. The kind of man who can want deeply without losing himself. When you internalize that, everything changes. You stop performing and start being. You stop chasing reactions and start mastering presence. You stop trying to win her over and start becoming the man she feels drawn to naturally. Remember this line. She pulls away when your need gets louder than your presence. That's the whole message. And if you want the next step, if you want to know exactly what to do after she goes cold, without double texting, without chasing, and without killing the last bit of attraction, then watch the next video. Because that's where we break down how grounded men handle distance in a way that makes women feel your value, even in your silence.